diaper in the middle of the night. You're exhausted.
And I thought, what better time than to read Bruh. Hello. Oh, this is a very weird angle. Let me change that a little bit. Hi everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with A Court of Silver Flames. So it's Friday, so I've got the start of the weekend, pretty free-ish weekend. We've got something to do on, like, tomorrow on Saturday, but I thought it would be the perfect time to sit down and read A Court of Silver Flames. I thought, what better thing to do while reading this book than vlogging it, since I literally vlogged everything else in the series, minus the Frost and Starlight one, the novella one. So that's what I'm doing. We're going to take this weekend and then maybe a little bit into the beginning of next week, depending on how long or how much I can actually listen to the audiobook of this throughout the weekend. But I thought we'd do it on a weekend just because I usually have flown through these in the past, and I wanted to have some time where I could like dedicate to it and have the book physically with me instead of like trying to listen to it while I was doing other things throughout the week. So we are starting this today. I have not started it as of filming, but just like the little PSA maybe, that this is going to be spoilery. I'm going to spoil everything in this book. I'm going to probably talk about parts of things that happened in the rest of the series. So if you're watching this, you've probably read this book and so therefore have read the rest of the series. But this is your warning that, hey, hello, I'm going to talk about spoilery things throughout this entire video. So if you don't mind being spoiled or you've already read this, please continue. If you haven't, here's your warning. So I'm going to start this tonight sometime. So I do have a couple of theories. I'm not sure what I'm getting into. I purposely haven't really read the inside Just Jacket quite yet. I'm going to, but I haven't done it yet. So my theories going into this book, obviously I know this is going to follow Nesta. I'm pretty sure it's going to be primarily from her perspective as well. So I know that this is going to follow her and Cassian, and I'm very excited about that. I do know that we're going to be talking a lot about trauma because of the stuff that happened at the end of ACOWAR with her father, and then, well, primarily her father, but also her getting used to the fact that she is Fae at this point. Is also going to be hard for her, I think. So she's still grappling with that. And then you get into the war at the end of the last book and her father and that whole situation. So there's a lot that she's dealing with. And, like, understandable, don't get me wrong. So I expect a lot of stuff within this book to be, like, tougher subjects than in the past books. Not that there wasn't talk about trauma, because there was. Primarily in the second one, Akamath, with Feyre and her trauma, and Rhys's trauma from being in Amarantha's court. I can't remember what she called it, but that whole situation. There was a lot of trauma following both of them. So I expect this to be very similar to that, but I would like to see the two of them. I've seen hints online of some scenes between them, so I'm very curious about that. But that's what I think. Obviously this is going to mostly follow. Plot-wise, I don't know where we're going to go from here. Those are my theories. So I don't know what we're going to get into, but like I just kind of like skimmed this and I only see Nesta and Cassian's names, so I know that they're going to be like a big part of this, and I know there's going to be a lot of scenes where Cassian is training Nesta. So I'm just very excited. So let's dive in today. I'm very excited. I'll also take you along with me this weekend as I read this. We do have some plans, like I mentioned. Tomorrow we're doing a like meetup with some of my friends, well, our friends, that we play the Villainous Word game with. I've talked about that a couple of times on the channel, but I literally love that game. And so we're meeting up to play that in person, safely of course, and I'm very excited about that, and that's really the only plans we have, is to play with them. So they may appear, we'll see, but I'm going to be primarily focusing on reading this weekend. Y'all, it's time. It is time to begin. Oh, I'm so excited. Hello, it is Sunday night. I have a little bit of an update. I thought I'd just tell you kind of where we're at plot-wise, my initial thoughts on this. So I am at chapter 22, which is 240-ish pages in the book. We're right about here. I did not do as much reading or listening of this as I have wanted to this weekend, but that's fine. I didn't really listen to it yesterday, which was Saturday. Again, fine. I'm not really that upset about it. But I am really enjoying it. I have been tabbing, as you can kind of see a little bit, so we're already having some good feelings. And I'm very excited because a couple of things have happened. So we are enough into the story that we've had some very cute and even one make-out scene between Nesta and Cassian. Actually, it was more than make-out scene, but if you've read it, you know exactly what scene I'm talking about in the hallway. Y'all. And then we have met Gwen. And I like Gwen. I think she's really sweet. I can see that she'll be an issue in the future. I mean, I've seen online that she's an issue in the future when it comes to Az and Elaine. I feel like there's something there still. I feel like there's something there. So I'm curious to see where that's going to go because, like, we have a lot of the book left, so there's still a lot to dive into. But this is a thick boy, but I am loving it a lot. I've really, like, in the last 100 pages, I've really gotten hooked into it. Like, before it was just kind of like setting the scene, and now we're getting more into the plot because we've just found out that Feyre is pregnant. And, like, I wish I was recording, like, my reactions because I think I was very excited. I had a feeling that was coming in this book because, like, it was kind of hinted at in the novella. I mean, not really, but it's been kind of hinted at, but it's here and I'm very excited about it. So that was really cute to, like, see that scene, and that's really kind of started that whole scene of, like, finding out about that, but also they've come together because they're learning some stuff about this queen who honestly I forgot about until this scene. Like, they've been mentioning her, but I didn't realize which one she was. So there's the human queen who's not human anymore. In the second book, I think it was the second book, yeah, when Nesta and Elaine went into the cauldron and became Fae, this queen went into the cauldron, but she came out really old. She's still immortal, but she's, like, stuck in an older body, so, like, it doesn't move as well and things like that, so she's a little bitter about that. But there's some stuff brewing with her and this, like, ancient force that's stuck in a well or stuck in a cavern or something, and they're trying to find the cauldron, but they're also trying to find these other artifacts, and because Nesta and Elaine are cauldron made, they have a better chance of finding these objects, because there's something about like if your cauldron made like calls to like, and therefore they will be able to like sense these objects because they are also like the same thing as the cauldron. So Nesta and Lane are having some, you know, issues, but it looks like they're both going to help out trying to find this cauldron. So I'm very excited to see where we go from here, because like plot-wise it's really heating up, and so I'm excited to see more of Nesta in action instead of Nesta just kind of like not pining, that's not the word I'm looking for, but like hiding away because her trauma has like taken over her life. And like I get it, I get why she is suffering from a lot of things, because not only is she still suffering with the idea of her being Fae and her not being human anymore, and like being forced into this cauldron by a man against her will, and also being forced to become something that she didn't want to become in the first place. I don't think she hates that she's Fae anymore. I think that she hates that she was forced into it without being asked her opinion and asked things like this. Because it does mention, which I think has been mentioned before, but honestly I have completely forgotten about it, so it's kind of brand new information for me. I know it's not because Cassian knows about it, but Nesta has had some issues in the past, and I don't know if she was sexually assaulted or if she was raped, but something happened with her and a guy, I think named Thomas, and so like she has some flashbacks from that as well. So she's got a lot of trauma in her past. She's got that, she's got the cauldron, and then she's got the whole like her dad dying in front of her thing. So she's got a lot of issues, but she's just kind of like sucked herself into this hole of self, I don't even know what the right word is. Like she's just kind of like unhappy, and she's been drinking a lot and having sex with everybody, like anyone she can get, to like kind of distract her from her trauma, and she's not actually dealing with it. And so she started to train with Cassian, which has been helpful. She's been working in the library, that she seems to have really been enjoying. That's where she met Gwen. And I'm really excited to kind of see where that goes, because obviously Nesta's got to have a conversation with Cassian. Cassian is understanding and like seeing things that she's doing. For example, she doesn't like fire, because when you've got like fireplaces, there's wood in there, and when the wood crackles, it like reminds her of the sound of her father's neck breaking in the last book, and so she can't be around fire. And so like Cassian has noticed that, and has noticed that she has like straight up fear in her face when she hears that, but he can't figure out why. And so she's gonna have to tell him like they're gonna have a conversation at some point. It probably won't be until like the 600-page mark of this 700-something page book, but they're gonna have to have a conversation about this situation, because like they've had little baby conversations where like they open up a little bit towards each other, and he's talked about like his trauma and how with his mom was treated really badly, so like he went back and basically like murdered everybody that like did his mom wrong, and she asked him how long it took him to kind of deal with that, and he's like 10 years, and also still to this day. So like they've kind of started opening up towards each other a little bit, and there's also been some attraction between each other, which has been fun to read. So I'm excited to keep going. So far, so good. Nothing like drastic to really talk about, but I did want to mention that that is where I'm at. The plot seems to really be kicking off now, and I'm excited, and I'm also very excited about Feyre being pregnant, but also like it was really nice to see that Rhys has been like super overprotective of her because of that, and now that the family knows, he's kind of like come back a little bit, and he and Nesta have kind of come to this understanding a little bit of like Nesta's got a lot of issues to work with, but she's never going to actually hurt Feyre or their child. So I think they've come to an understanding, and we're starting to see Rhys differently, because this entire time we've been seeing Rhys through her eyes. Even though this book is in third person and it switches back and forth from Nesta and Cassian's points of view, it's still in third person, which I find interesting because all the other books have been in first person. I mean, granted, all of them have been from Feyre's perspective, except for the novella. So like that's a difference in her writing, which makes sense because this is a different book. This is a one-off book that's going to be on their perspectives. So yeah, it's been great. I'm excited to see where it goes. I feel like the plot's now officially starting. So I will be listening to, I'm going to continue reading this. It's like, I don't even know what time it is, like 6 or 7, 7:30. So I still got loads of time tonight. So I'm going to plow through this because I have been really enjoying this one. I did a lot of like housework and stuff today, like the dishes, and there's been laundry and just kind of general cleaning up of things. Like we had to clean out our fridge today. It was very gross. So I've been listening to the audiobook on and off throughout the day, but I'm really excited to like actually sit down and just kind of like plow through this, and then we will continue to read some more over the next couple of days. I would love to get this done by like Tuesday or Wednesday. That would be ideal. But we'll see. It'll be done in the next few days for sure, because like the audiobook I'm on, at the rate that I'm going, it says it's like 11 or 12 hours in it, and I can usually get through 6 or so hours in a day. So I think I could do it the next couple of days. So I'm excited to continue. So far, so good. I'm loving being back in this world. I am actually loving being in these perspectives. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it as much. They're not my favorite, but there's a lot of angst. Like that's the best word to describe this whole situation, is there's a lot of angst in this book, because Nesta is just kind of like taking all of her issues and like put them in here, and we're just gonna like push them all down. We're not gonna talk about them, and I'm not gonna ask for anybody's help. I'm just gonna like keep it all locked down. And she's doing that also with like the power she's got, because she's got some special power as well that I don't fully understand, and I don't think any of us actually understand what it is. So yeah, I'm just, lots of things. There's lots of things moving forward, but I'm excited to continue, and I love these characters so much. I'm so glad that we can continue with them. since you saw me last, and it's been more than that since I talked to you last. So I'm here to wrap up my thoughts on A Court of Silver Flames. How do you even say this? I don't know. I finished this a couple of days ago, and I did really enjoy it. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. It is not my favorite in the series. It is definitely the lowest rated, because I think I gave the original trilogy all 5 stars, and then I think the novella got 4. So maybe that one's the lowest rated. That's probably the lowest rated one. But I did and really enjoy it. So like, it's been a couple of days, and I'm honestly not even sure what to say about this, because like, there are moments that I absolutely adored. Like, any kind of moment or scene between Nesta and Cassian, I absolutely loved. I also really enjoyed that moment when like the reader discovers that they're mates for each other. Like, we all knew this was where it was gonna go, but I also just really enjoy it. I really enjoyed that they actually were mates. It felt right for them, to be honest. They just kind of fit together really well. And I loved seeing that moment, because like, at least in the original trilogy, I feel like Rhys knew, and like, we never saw Rhys discover it, because obviously Rhys just knew. And then Feyre was told. She didn't really have any kind of like moment where she knew. I know that there was some moments where it just kind of was described as like feeling right, but it was never really shown the moment when she like felt it. I don't know if I'm describing that very well. There was this like moment between the two of them where they were talking about, like, at least Sarah J. Maas was like explaining it as like this golden thread between them, and I really enjoyed that part. I thought that was really interesting. I clearly liked it enough to have the crap out of it, just like the last few. And there's just a couple of little things that bothered me, is that there's like, she's not my favorite character, I'm not gonna lie. Nesta kind of annoys me most of the time, and I think it's because I don't understand where she's coming from. I don't know, it just, I wanted the plot to be more, and like, I felt like this book didn't have a lot of plot, because as I was reading, and I feel like I even said in the last time I updated you, I was like, I don't know where we're gonna go, because like, I was definitely about halfway, a little over halfway through this book, when I was talking to a friend of mine that has read this a few months ago, probably more than that, and she was asking me kind of like what my thoughts on where I thought the plot was going to go, and I honestly didn't have any, because I didn't know what the plot was. Like, I mean, obviously we had an idea of like this other queen, Brialyn, who was supposed to have these artifacts, and like, they're trying to find the artifacts, but like, I felt like that wasn't described. Like, this book was purely about Nesta's character development, which is fine, except for I'm not a person who enjoys thousands and thousands of pages on character development. I need a plot to go along with it, and this didn't. Like, I feel like this one didn't have that. There are also moments where no one understands Nesta's power, and that was used to the advantage by the author, because like, some of the stuff that happened at the end, like the fact that she was able to kill Brialyn, like, how? And also the guy that she killed when they went to the like the prison, the guy that Cassian is trapped in there, that he was also like a god, and he like freaked out because like he would discover that she was something, but like, we don't know what that is. We still don't understand this power that she had, and like, she was just able to kill 2 immortal beings. Like, that feels wrong, you know? But I just felt like there was just aspects of her power that was lazy writing, because she was supposed to have this power, but there was no set rules to the power, so it could be used in any way. So like, it helped in the end, because honestly, like, if the author had killed off Feyre, I think the world would have revolted. Like, honestly. And plus, it probably would have driven Nesta back in that deep hole that she had literally just climbed herself out of. So it would have just been awful. So glad she didn't do that, but it felt like she used this question mark when it came to Nesta to just kind of like solve this issue. And so like, I don't know, I felt like it needed a couple more chapters at the end. It wrapped up really, really quickly. I liked that she had her own kind of found family, because while, yes, she is part of this found family that Feyre has created, it wasn't by choice, and so she was able to find a couple of people that she wanted around her by choice. So that was really sweet to see. And also Gwen is amazing. I love Gwen. She's definitely one of my favorite characters of this book. Oh, she's amazing. I love her so much. I did appreciate that we saw what happened to both Gwen and Emery, I think is how you say it, when they kind of had this not come to Jesus moment, but like they had this moment of like the three of them talking about all of the past things that they haven't talked about yet, right before they climbed the mountain at the very end, when they were like forced to partake in this like trial that they were doing. The Illyrian, oh, what's it called? Blood rite. Is that right? I think so. So when they were forced to take part in that, they were about to climb the mountain, and so they all just kind of expressed what had happened to them. And so, like, while that was so hard to read, I really appreciated that we did find out, because, like, there was this giant question mark, and while I guessed part of what happened, I didn't guess all of it, I guess. I don't know. So, like, I've got a lot of swirling thoughts and not any solid things that I think, but I will say I definitely still have like a book hangover from this book, and it's not because like it's my favorite book ever, because it's not, but I love this world and I love these characters, and Cassian is so freaking sweet, and I love seeing all these people that I've come to love in the last three and a half books, and I didn't want to leave them. And the fact that there is no set date for whenever the heck the next one's going to come out bothers me. Also, if it's not a book about Elaine, I might throw a fit, because like I need to know what's going on there, because clearly she has an aversion to Lucian being her mate, and I want to know why. Because like Nesta's hesitancy to say mate at first, I completely understand, because like as humans they didn't like really believe in that kind of thing, but as Fae they really did, and also it was like one last strand of her humanity that she was holding on to. So I get why Nesta didn't want to say mate, but that didn't stop her from being with someone, whereas Elaine is like not with anyone. And I mean, fair, you go girl, you do you, but I want to know in her brain, like I want to know inside her head and why she's thinking, and kind of like, even to like the end of this book, she like purposely put herself on the opposite side of the room when Lucian was there, and I need to know why. So that's a hodgepodge chaoticness of what I thought. I don't know if any of that made any sense. I really hope so. But I really enjoyed reading this book, and I'm so glad that I got to dip back into this world, because I freaking love these people. And I'm really curious to see where we go from here. And I'm not going to be okay when she stops writing books in this world. It's what I've decided. It has taken me heart and soul. It was also interesting to see, sorry, I'm backpedaling a little bit. It was interesting to see kind of a little bit of the difference in writing. There wasn't much, because with the first three, they were kind of trying to be YA, even though we all know they definitely weren't. They were definitely new adult, whereas this one was the first one in this series where she was like, yeah, okay, this isn't YA. And so I feel like there was definitely way more sex scenes than there was in the past three books combined, maybe. And they were significantly more graphic. Not that I was upset by that, just an interesting, just interesting to see when you take that label off what this author will do, because based on some of the stuff in Crescent City, which was her first official book in the adult genre, I personally didn't get what I thought was going to happen when you took the label off, and this is what I thought we were going to get in Crescent City, and we didn't quite do that. So it was really just interesting to see. I probably just wrote in Crescent City. Maybe I should take that part out or phrase it differently. But yeah, those are my general thoughts after reading this book. I hope that you guys enjoyed this spoilery vlog. Let me know your thoughts down below. Maybe do like the spoilers and then ... just in case someone accidentally scrolls through the comments. But like, if you're here, I feel like you are here to be spoilery. But you know, y'all do you. But let me know if you guys read this book and enjoyed it, and some of your thoughts on it. What did you think of Nesta's powers? Because like, I still don't know what I think, because I'm still not sure what they were. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you'd like to be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got all my social media down there, as well as other fun bookish links, so don't forget to check all of that out, and I will see you guys in my next video.